Hello students, in the last lecture we revised the law of gravitation in vector form and about the acceleration due to gravity, that is a small g. Today we will discuss about the variation in the value of g. Now there is a variation in the value of g due to height or altitude. So first variation is variation in the value of g due to height or altitude. So as we move away from the surface of the earth, the value of the g decreases. Let us write the formula for the variation in the value of g, or what is the new value of g at different height. Now we have derived this relation in our syllabus. So we are going to write about the formula for the value of g due to height. So first formula was g dash is equal to g into r square upon r plus h whole square. So this is how the value of g decreases due to height, because in the denominator we have r plus h, where h is a height taken from the surface of the earth. So here this is the radius of the earth, this is the surface. The value at the surface is generally taken as 10 for calculation purpose, and we have derived it is approximately 9.8. So the height is taken from the surface of the earth. So if a body is at point P at a height h from the surface of the earth, and the distance from the center was denoted by small r in the theory. So this is g dash is equal to ge, where ge is the value on the surface of the earth, r square upon r plus h whole square. Now this formula is applicable. So equation 1 is applicable if h is comparable with r. So we know the value of r is 6400 kilometer. So if the value of h is of the order of 1000, if the value of h is of the order of 1000, then we apply this formula. Otherwise, if h is less than r, that is few kilometer or few meter from the surface of the earth, then we applied the binomial theorem and we found the formula g dash was equal to ge 1 minus 2h upon r. So this was our another equation. So we have two equations for the variation in g due to height. Here the value of g decreases with respect to altitude or with respect to height. So as you move away from the surface of the earth, the value of g is going to decrease. In the denominator we have r plus h, which is more than the numerator, and here if you open the bracket, this is ge minus something. Again the value of g dash is less than the value of g. So that is g dash is less than the value of g. So this is the variation. Now let us find out if the value of g decreases by how much percent, or what is the fractional decrease in the value of a g. So fractional decrease in the value of g, fractional decrease in the value of g. So what we know, that g dash will be less than ge. So ge minus g dash upon g. So this will be because ge is greater, so we write initial minus final divided by initial is equal to 2h by r. So you write down all this formula. So this is the fractional decrease in the value of g. and you can derive this from this. You open the bracket, then you will get or you can take g dash here and do the necessary calculation. You will get this formula. So this formula is called fractional decrease in the value of g. So if you are moving at a height r from the surface, you substitute r here, so r will be cancelled, so the value of g decrease by 2, and if you multiply both sides, it will be 200%. So here percentage decrease in value of g, so it becomes ge minus g dash upon ge multiply by 100, that is equal to twice h into r into percentage. So if we want to find out the percentage decrease in the value of g, so you multiply both sides by 100. So these are the formula. This is the fourth formula. It is similar to 3, that is the fractional decrease, and that is the percentage decrease. Now let us consider few cases. If h is equal to r, then so sometime directly it is asked the value is taken to a height equal to the radius of the earth. Then in that case g dash is equal to ge by 4, that is 1/4. It becomes 1/4. So now h is comparable to r, so you substitute r value here. So r plus r 2r, that is 4r square. You r square can get cancelled, so re. So if we remember this 3 formula, you can get this value. But you have to remember, if h is equal to r, then g dash becomes 1/4 of ge. Now there is sometime a question, at what height the value of the gravity becomes half. So if I take the value of the gravity on the surface of the earth to be 10, at what height the value becomes 5. So the formula is, at h is equal to 0.4 r or 0.41 r, the value of g, that is the new value of g, becomes exactly half. So if I take the value 9.8 at this height, that is 0.41 r, the value becomes half of the present value. So if you don't remember this thing, you simply substitute h is where value becomes half. So in the place of g dash, you write ge by 2. ge is cancelled, and you do the necessary calculation, then also you will get this answer. So these are the few points. Then at what height, now here we have to find out the height. At what height the value of g, becomes x% of the present value. So we know that a present value is 10. Now the question is, at what height the value of g become the 4% of the present value, or it becomes 1/4% of the present value. So you have to find out the height where the value of g becomes x% of the present value. So in that case, the formula will be equal to h is equal to 10r minus root r upon r. So 10r minus root xr upon root x. So this is a direct formula where the value of the height at which the value of g becomes x% of the present value. So this x% will be given that where the value becomes 50% of the present value or 2% of the present value. So you substitute this 2% directly at this point. So suppose where the value becomes 2% of the present value. So what will be the present value? 10. So 2% of the present value. So 2 divided by 100 into 10. If it is given at what height the value, let us take an example that find h where value becomes 2% of GE. Find h where value becomes 2% of GE. So 2% of GE means G dash is equal to 2% of GE, that is equal to 2 upon 100 into say 10. So it becomes 0.2. So it becomes 0.2. So at what height this value becomes 2%? So you write this here 2%. Now let us take an example where we can directly check this value. Let us take 4%. Suppose we want to take a 4%, that at what height the value becomes 4%. Or to verify this formula, at h is equal to r, g dash becomes 1/4. 1/4 means 1/4 multiplied by 100, that is 25% of GE. So here we can write 25%. So at what height the value of G becomes 25%? So x is equal to 25%. So here h is equal to 10r minus root 25, that is 5r upon 5. So this becomes 5r upon 5. So h is equal to r. So this is to verify the formula. So we know that if h is equal to r, then it becomes GE by 4. That is the 25%. This value is 25%. This value is 50% of the present value. So if in the question it is given directly find out h, so instead of calculation, we can directly apply this formula. So this is equation number 4 for a altitude. Now the opposite of this, where the value becomes 1 upon x time. Now not a percentage. At what height the value of G becomes 1 upon x time the present value. At what height the value of G becomes 1 upon x times the present value. So in that situation the formula becomes h is equal to r root x minus 1. Root x minus 1. Now let us verify this formula. So this value becomes 1 upon 4 times. This value becomes 1 upon 4 times. So if I say at what height the value of G becomes 1 upon 4 times, so x is equal to 4. Substitute 4 here, root of 4, 2 minus 1. So 1r. So h is equal to r. Directly the value becomes 1 upon 4 times at h is equal to r. So these are the two shortcut formulas, if you remember. Otherwise it is better you apply formula 1 and formula 2, and for direct percentage decrease or the fractional decrease we can apply this. So these three formula are important. These values can be verified from the question itself. So if we have a question, you can do a little bit calculation, you will get an answer. Otherwise, remember this values or this formula. Now variation in the value of G due to depth. So in this derivation, we have assumed that the earth is having a uniform density, though this is an assumption, and then we did our derivation, and the depth was denoted by D. So this was a earth where the radius was given by R, and we moved inside the earth. So this was the depth D. Here we have taken a point P or a body of mass M. So distance from the center was R. Distance from the center was small r, and while going inside we have taken the depth D. Now when you are at this point, we assume that earth is made up of number of concentric spheres. So we made the two assumption. One was the entire density of Earth was assumed to be uniform, and another assumption was that the Earth is made up of number of spherical concentric cells. That is a hollow sphere. So when you are at a point P or at depth D, only this much mass of the Earth is responsible for the gravitational pull or the gravitational force, because inside a hollow sphere or a spherical shell, the force was zero or the gravitational intensity was zero. So this, we will discuss this point also. So this is how we derived the formula, and we found that G dash was equal to G1 minus D upon R. So this was our general formula, where this Ge was the value of G on the surface of the Earth. Now we have to again find out the fractional decrease. Again it is clear that it is Ge minus something. So when you go inside the Earth, or the value of G decreases due to depth, the value of G decreases due to depth. So whether you move up to a height h, the value of G decreases, and even if when we go inside the Earth or depth, the value of G decreases. So the value of G decreases due to depth D. Then again the fractional decrease. So fractional decrease in G is Ge minus G dash upon Ge, that is equal to D upon R. So this is the fractional decrease. You can find out this. This is R minus D, or then you apply componendo dividendo method. So we have Ge minus G dash upon Ge is equal to D by R. Similarly, if we want to find out the percentage decrease, so percentage decrease in value of G is Ge minus G dash upon Ge into 100, that is D by R into 100%. So this is the fractional decrease, and the case is if you multiply both sides by 100, you will get the answer in the percentage decrease. So these are the two basic formula where to find out the variation in the value of G due to depth. Now let us consider the case again. If D is equal to R by 2, means you move half inside the Earth. So D is equal to R by 2. So that is 1 minus half. That is directly G dash is equal to Ge by 2. So if we go inside the Earth, half of its radius, the value of G also becomes half. Similarly, if D is equal to 3 by 4 R, that is 3/4 R, then you substitute here 3 by 4 R, so it becomes 1 by 4. So G dash is equal to Ge by 4. So this is directly if you want to remember, otherwise simply substitute the value. And the important point is, if you reach at the center of the Earth, that is D is equal to R, then G dash becomes 0. So D is equal to R, 1 minus 1. So the main point is, at center of Earth, G is 0. So at center of Earth, the value of G is 0. Then again, at what depth the value becomes 1 by x times. So again we have a shortcut formula. At what height value of G becomes 1 by x time its present value. So value becomes 1 upon x times. So if I say at what depth the value of G becomes half, so depth is R by 2. So we have a general formula, D is equal to R x minus 1 upon x. So at what height, at what depth value of g becomes 1 upon x time. So if I say becomes half time, so to verify this, at what depth the value of g becomes 1 upon 2 times or half times its present value. So x is equal to 2. So we put 2 minus 1, that is 1 divided by 2. So that is r by 2. Similarly, at what depth the value of g becomes 1 upon 4 times. So x is 4. So 4 minus 1, 3 by 4. So d is equal to 3 by 4. So again, this is a relation with the depth. Directly you can apply this formula if you remember. Otherwise, these two formula are sufficient to solve MCQ related to the depth. Now this is the formula in the terms of the depth. At the same time, in our NCERT book, we derived the formula in the terms of the small r. Small r is always taken from the center of the earth. So g dash at this point can be written as, we take a general formula, which is g mass of the earth, which is this portion, the shaded portion. You have to take the mass only for a shaded portion, because inside the hollow sphere or inside the concentric shell, the gravitational pull is 0. So we take this mass of this shaded portion to be m dash upon r square. So this is how we write the general formula for small g. Now m dash can be written as density, which is uniform. Density means the mass per unit volume, and mass can be written as density into volume. So volume of the given sphere, that is the shaded portion. So this was equal to 4 by 3 pi g rho r. So we have proved this thing in the previous lecture also, that if we have to consider the density, g dash is proportional to r. So let us plot the graph, the variation of g due to depth from the center of the earth. So the graph is important here. This is the value of small r. So on y-axis we take the distance from the center of the earth. Now we start from this point. At the center of the earth, the value of g is 0. So this is the 0 value. Now if I move up, that is, if from the center I am moving towards the surface of the earth, so in that situation g dash is directly proportional to r, because as you go inside, the value of g is decreasing. Now it is a reverse. You are coming up on the surface of the earth from the center. So in that situation, the formula in the terms of the small r, in the terms of small r is this, in the terms of density and small r. So g dash is directly proportional to r. So the value of g rise in a direct proportion. The value of the g rise in a direct proportion. Then on the surface of the earth, so if I reach on the surface of the earth, that is a small r becomes equal to the capital R. So the value of g is maximum. This value is this value is RE, and correspondingly this value is GE. So G is directly proportional to R as we move from the center of the earth to its surface. Now above the surface, again the value of G decreases, and the general formula becomes GME upon R square. So G is inversely proportional to the square of distance from the center. So the graph decreases like this. So this is G proportional to 1 upon R square. So this is the graph for 1 upon R square. So you can interrupt this like at the center 0, then in a direct proportion, and from the surface of the earth or above the surface of the earth, the value of G again decreases. Now if you are going inside from the surface, the value of G will decrease with respect to depth, and this is the formula with respect to depth. Now let us consider the third situation where the value of g varies due to the rotation of Earth about its polar axis. So let us consider Earth. This is its polar radius and the Earth is rotating with an angular velocity omega. The Earth is rotating with the angular velocity omega. This is the center of the Earth. RE is the radius. RE is the radius of the Earth and ME is the mass of the Earth. Now let us consider, now this is the equatorial line. We can draw an equilateral plane also here. So this is equatorial line. Now first we have to define here what is latitude. So first we define a latitude. Every place have a different latitude. So we have to define the latitude. So latitude is nothing but a angle made by the line. So let us consider some place. This is some place or some country. Join this line with the center of the Earth. This is lambda. So it is a line joining the place on the Earth to its center, or the angle made by the line joining the place to the center of the Earth with reference to the equatorial line. So latitude is defined as latitude, the angle made by line joining the place or any country to the center of Earth with respect to the equatorial plane or an equatorial line. Here let us take an equatorial line. If we want to draw an equatorial plane, this will be the equatorial plane. So we have taken the reference as a equatorial line. So this is the angle made by the line joining the place to the center of the Earth. Now if our place is at this point, so this is the pole of the Earth and this is the equator of the Earth. So we are in between the pole and the equator. Now Earth at the same time is rotating about its polar axis. Let its angular velocity will be omega. This is the radius. OP in the figure is radius. Now let us join this point or a place with the polar axis or the axis of rotation. Let this distance is r. Let this distance is small r. So place to place or country to country, this distance small r will vary. Now we extend this line and we make a Cartesian coordinate system at this point. So if this is a lambda, this also comes out to be lambda. You can verify this by the geometry. If this is lambda, this portion also comes out to be lambda. So from point P, we drop a perpendicular on the polar axis, say M. Then PM in the figure becomes small r. That is the radius of that place that is moving around the polar axis. So it performs a circular motion. This place will rotate with the angular velocity omega. So it is the radius of the circular motion of this place around the polar axis. So PM is equal to R. And we have OMP as a right angled triangle. So OMP is right angled triangle. Now, if a body of mass M is placed at point P, the gravitational force is always directed towards the center of the Earth. So we assume a body of mass small m at point P. So this we are deriving this because it was not done in our NCERT book. So consider a body of mass m at point P or at any country or at any place, point P. The gravitational force acting on it is along PO vector. So the force will be directed towards the center. Now as the earth is rotating, we have a centrifugal force. Now we know that if any body is rotating with an angular velocity, the centrifugal force which is directed away from the center act on the body, that is a pseudo or a frictious force. So the pseudo or frictious force, which is a centrifugal force. So if any body is bound towards the center of the earth, then we have a centripetal force. But if it have a omega value which is slightly varying, though we consider this omega as constant, the centrifugal force act on it. The centrifugal force acting on a body of mass m is mv square upon r. Now what is the centripetal force? That's what is the gravitational force? It is directed towards the center. So this is the direction P to O, that is mge. mge. We assume ge to be 9.8. So if earth is not rotating, this body will be attracted towards the center with the force mge, where E is taken as a surface of the earth. But because of omega, the centrifugal force act away from the center of the earth. So due to rotation, the centrifugal force that is also called the pseudo force is mv square upon r, directed away from center or directed away from axis, that is in the figure, along m to p vector. So it is directed outward. This is the geometry. So this is the situation at point P. So if I consider a point P, the gravitational force acting is mge. That is the gravitational force on the earth, at the place point P. The centrifugal force is mv square by r. So let us redraw this diagram. This angle is lambda. And here we join this point. We have a right angle at M. This angle is also lambda. This is R. Now this is clearly the radius of the earth. So from point P to O, that is the radius of the earth. So this is a geometry. Now this is lambda. This is the radius and the force is towards the center. So this is the mge. Now the centrifugal force can be resolved into two components. So one of this component is this and the other component is this. So resolving mv square upon r into two components. This is angle lambda. So this component becomes the cos component, that is mv square r cos lambda. And this component becomes mv square r sine of lambda. Now clearly the cosine component is opposite to the gravitational force. So at point P, there are two forces acting. One is acceleration due to gravity, which is towards the center, that is from P to O. And we have a centrifugal force which is away from the axis of rotation, or it is directed outward. So we find out the component of this centrifugal force from O to P. So this is from P to O, and the cosine component. So we directly write in figure mv square upon r cos lambda is along O to P, opposite of the gravitational force. So at a point P you have two forces now. One is gravitational, one is the cosine component of centrifugal force. So the resultant value of G will decrease. So resultant force, or you can also say a frictious force or a apparent forces. Now this came into the picture. One, because the latitude is there, so latitude is one of the factor, but because the earth is rotating, we have a centrifugal force also, which we have not taken into consideration while you were moving above the earth or you are going into it. But if you are on the surface of the earth, then different place, different country have a different value of G. So G changes from place to place. Now resultant force. So let the resultant force is mg dash. Now the gravitational force is mge minus the cosine component of the centrifugal force. So clearly, again the value of G decreases. Decreases. So the value of G decreases due to rotation of earth. The value of G decreases due to the rotation of the earth. Now what will be the new value of G? Now this is the resultant force. So M and get cancelled. So G dash is equal to GE minus something. So clearly the value has decreased because this V came into the picture. V is the velocity, linear velocity. We know the relation between the linear velocity and the angular velocity. So we substitute omega is equal to V is equal to R into omega. Now we have to, from this diagram, from this equation it is clear that the value of G decreases. But by how much value or what is the percentage? So we substitute value now. Now V is equal to R omega. Therefore G dash is equal to GE minus R omega square cos of lambda. So G dash is equal to GE minus, we substitute V is equal to R omega. Now we take this right angle cos lambda. Now cos lambda is equal to adjacent upon the radius of the earth. So cos lambda, that is adjacent upon the hypotenuse, that is RE. So small r is replaced by RE cos of lambda. So G dash is equal to GE minus omega square, or you can write RE omega square cos square lambda. So this is our final derivation, that the value of G becomes GE minus RE omega square cos square lambda. So because we have omega and we have a centrifugal force, the value of G changes, and indirectly we have considered the latitude also. So even if the latitude changes, the value of G will change, and at the same time it changes because the earth is rotating with the angular velocity omega. So if earth stop rotating, then the value of G dash is equal to GE. Just few point due to the rotation of earth. Now the general formula we derived is G dash is equal to GE minus R omega square cos square lambda, where lambda is the latitude. Now let us discuss a particular situation at poles. So for a pole, this is a position or a point at a pole. So at pole, lambda is equal to 90 degree or pi by 2, that is latitude is 90 degree. In that situation, the cos lambda is 0, cos 90 is 0. So G at pole is equal to GE, that is, let us say it is 9.8. At equator, so let us discuss this, all the points. At equator, lambda is equal to 0 degree. So G at equator is equal to GE minus R omega square cos square lambda. So this is the situation. So if the value of G at the pole is 9.8, it is 9.8 minus something. That something is, cos 0 is 1. That something is R omega square. So if you move from pole to G equator, the value of G will decrease. That is, the weight of a body will decrease. And if we move from equator to the pole, the force or the weight of a body will increase. So here clearly from equation 2 and 3, GP is greater than G equator. If we move from pole to the equator, the force will decrease or the weight will decrease. And if you move opposite, so if we move from equator to pole, so frictious weight or the new weight, the weight of body increases. The weight of the body increases. So the new weight is equal to, you are moving from equator to pole. At pole the weight is more, so weight at pole minus the weight at equator. So this becomes M, mass is constant, GP minus G equator. So if you substitute this two value, GE minus G equator, GE is cancelled, so you will get this value as MR omega square. So this is the new weight, or you can say decrease in the weight if we move from equator to the pole. Similarly, you can find out the increase in the weight also if you move from equator to pole. The next point, how much increase or decrease is there? So value of G from pole to equator, value of G from pole to equator decreases by 0.34%. 0.34%. So this value is not very large. So if I take the value of G at pole to be 9.8, then the value of G at equator is 0.34% of GP. It means R omega square, if you substitute this value of R omega square, so we know the radius of the earth, we can find out the angular velocity of the earth by the formula omega is equal to 2 pi upon capital T, where T is a periodic time, that is a rotation period, 24 hours converted into second. So you can find out the omega. If you do this calculation, this value and subtract that value from 9.8, then it comes out to be 0.34% of GP. So there is a variation of only 0.3%. So this is another point. Then suppose the earth stop rotating. Now if the earth stop rotating, there will be no effect on the pole, because there is no such term in the formula for a pole. But the value of G equator, if it stop rotating, the present value at the equator is 0.34% of GP. It means the value of G increases about 0.34%. So if Earth stop rotating, there will be no change in the value of G at the pole, but the value on the equator should increase because the Earth is rotating. We have this minus sign. Now if it stop rotating, omega becomes 0. So then again G equator will become 9.8, which is presently a less than 9.8. So if Earth stop rotating, no change in value of G at poles, no change in the value of G at poles, but it increases by 0.34% at equator. So the value of G increases by about 0.34% at equator. That is, this value you will get 9.8 minus this value, it will be 0.3% of 9.8. So you can calculate that value. Suppose, now we will do the numericals related to this. What will happen if the speed increases or decreases? This is about the Earth stop rotating. But it has been found that if the Earth start rotating faster, then the value of G will change and the duration of the day will also change. So we will see that at pole there will be no effect, but if the omega changes, the Earth increases its angular speed omega or it decreases, there will be the effect on the value of G on the Earth because on the equator, because equator have a omega square here, r omega square. At the same time, the duration of the Earth, the duration of the day at the equator will also change. So that portion we will discuss in the MCQ. So this is all about the variation in the value of G due to altitude. Then we discussed due to depth, and we have discussed this due to rotation of Earth in detail with the derivation. And the last variation in the value of G is due to shape of Earth. So this was variation in value of G. Now we know Earth is not a perfect sphere, though in the derivation we have taken Earth to be a perfect sphere, but it is flattened at pole and bulges at the equator. So this is the actual oval shape Earth. Now in that case, this is the polar axis and this is the equatorial axis. So let the equatorial radius be denoted by RE. Here RE means equatorial, E for equatorial, and this as RP as a polar radius. So it is clear from the diagram that a polar radius is smaller. Now we know G is equal to Gme upon R square. That is the general formula. Now here Rp is less than Re. Here E for equator. And since Re is more, the value of G at pole is greater than the value of E. So also due to latitude also it is clear that the value of G is maximum at pole at minimum at equator. So again, as we move from equator to pole, the value of G will increase as we discussed in the previous topic. Now it has been found that the polar radius of Earth, that is Rp, is about 21 kilometer smaller than the equatorial radius. So it has been found that the radius of the Earth of the equatorial or equator is more by about 21 kilometers. So polar radius of the earth is smaller than the equatorial radius by 21 kilometer. So clearly G is inversely proportional to the square of its radius. The value of G should increase as you move from equator to the pole. So at pole the value of G is assumed to be maximum, and at equator it is assumed to be minimum. So this is all about the variation in the value of G, that is due to altitude, height, depth, rotation of earth, which we have discussed in detail, and the last is the shape of earth. So now in the next lecture we will try to do the MCQ related to these 4 factors and the gravitational forces. Then we will again discuss some theory, and then we will discuss again MCQ related to the gravitational potential energy. Have a nice day.